Hello and welcome. So, back on the Times quick cryptic crossword, and it's Monday the 28th of July 2025. Today's setter is Hurley. So Hurley's one of those names I quite like to see. We get a couple of puzzles a month from them. This will be the 13th of the year, and I'm averaging about 13.5 minutes, which is just slightly faster than my overall average. The last three puzzles have been 6 minutes, 7 minutes and 11. But there have been a couple up in the low 20s this year, so never entirely sure. But it's Monday. Mondays are normally a bit easier. Then again, on the counter side, I'm looking going, these 7 downs have got no help with the first letter. So I don't know. I'm assuming because it's Monday it will be a bit easier, but I think the best thing is to reset the timer and crack on. Not quite epic, large book summary. Not quite epic. Device for measuring spirits. Optic. Choose one. Choose one carefully to begin with. Opt 1C. Separates answer section apart. Bill ready to sing. Don't know. Discomfort seeing letters we hear. Practice. Discomfort. Disease. Rehearsal maybe. Slander, most ugly, despicable, first of all, mud. Okay. Rebuke, however you look at it. So it's a fall backwards. Rebuke, I don't know, but it's a palindrome, I assume. Equipment mixed up as a trap. Is that a part? No, it can't be part. Equipment mixed up. Equipment is 9 letters. After shake up, a ruler's very strange. Anger of a ruler, I assume. No, part of Robin Goodfellow's game. Bingo. Yeah. Remorse of fellowship. Taking time to replace diamonds. I need to just wipe my nose, excuse me. Remorse is grief is... Fellowship is a... Remorse, grief... okay. English at back of ship, referring to One Direction. Back of ship. Aft. After. Back of ship is the aft. It's the stern. Okay, not gone too well. 10 years decadent. I imagine that's going to be generate. Yeah, not extremely. Yep. Closing section is not applicable in dossier. NA in file, finale, okay, so far the downs are okay. Great deal, including fine attic space, loft and a lot, there we go. Queen referring to gain in an unusual way. To gain or gain in. Queen referring to gain in an unusual way. Okay. It may help to remember version adapted to accommodate you. Wow. It may help to remember is a... It's not a mnemonic. Remember version. Cheers up. Over drink with minimum of ice. Atrium. Brilliant to incorporate Mike's highest acme. Okay, the downs have gone very well there. Attempt to pack in a singlet is farce. Try, I assume attempt is a try. Pack in a singlet. Try, travesty. Very good. Good word, travesty. It's a travesty. Pay no regard to deduction from full price. Pay no regard to deduction. Discount, I suppose. Vegetable change I propose initially. So I assume it must be a T, because that's tat, tet, tit, tot, tut. I assume that's tut, but not entirely sure. Turn up changes to turn IP, I think. Turnip. Steal from large building housing female by river. Large building housing female by river. So she knows it's going to be an R. Need an R in there. Large building is a barn, shed, castle. Not sure. Showy stuff put in selection boxes. Feels like there should be a hidden word there somewhere. Can't see it though. Ion box, inbox, ion box. Selection put in selection boxes, spars. Serial closed quotes in the past. Say go. Let's quickly look at that one. Remorse of fellow taking grief. Grief becomes no. Grist fellowship. This one after shake up a rulers. Surreal. Let's go through these downs again. Last down. Central operations of inferior quality. Base, I suppose. Okay, that's not bad, is it? Not quite epic. Is it EPI, I assume? Epitome is large, right? Epitome. Nice. Bill ready to sing. No idea what's going on there. What's this? Discomfort is seeing letters we hear. So it should be something like election, electoral, electoral practice. Discomfort is rebuke, tat, tet, tit, tot. I think tut is the answer there, but a bit difficult to say really. Equipment mixed up as a trap. Is it just as in a trap? Up as a trap, which makes it apparatus, however you want to say it. Apparatus. This one down here was show you stuff put into selection boxes. Tinsel. I don't quite know why that's tinsel. Oh, it is hidden word. Very good. Like, nice that one. That English at back of ship, referring to one direction. That must be astern. Ah, lovely. Yeah, I'm liking this. Steal from large building. Housing female must be that, which makes that a pile. Okay, I wasn't getting to that. Pilfer. Remorse of fellowship. Remorse of fellowship. Taking time to replace times with a T instead of a D. What's remorse? Guilt. Guilt is remorse. Guild is a fellowship. Okay. Getting there. It may help to remember to accommodate you. Version. Remember version. I think it can't be a VER, then, can it? With that ending in V. So yeah, not too bad. Queen, referring to Queen be R, I think. Referring to regain in a different way, in an unusual way. Can't be an anagram because there's an E on epitome. Bill ready soon. What know about that? Add. Ready is. The thing is to. So yeah, a bit of a stumper now. Discomfort, seeing letters we hear. Letters mail, post, practice. Discomfort, erection, erect. There's so many things going there, aren't there? Ease. Exec. X. Actually, there's not many things, but there's starting to be lots of things going there. Eventual practice. E down, E. Unfortunately, these ones don't seem to. I. What about I strain? Train is to practice. Discomfort is I strain. Eyes strain. Eyes train. Gosh. that's with, well, what's this? Regina? It's gain in a different way, isn't it? Referring to, yeah, gain. Okay, that was a toughie. Bill ready is an invoice, which just leaves this one to be. It may help you to remember souvenir, I think. I'm going to biff that. Why is that souvenir version adapted? Yeah. Nice, 931. Good old Hurley, another sub 10. Okay, that wasn't the easiest of puzzles, I think. Let's go through those. So yeah, we've got not quite epic. Well, take off the C of epic gives you the EPI. A large book is a tome, and a summary is the epitome. Didn't really know that was what epitome meant. I would say it does mean a summary. I always just thought it was like the main characteristic, which I suppose is summary. But optic, the device for measuring spirits. So the optic is that little. If you ever go in a pub and there's a bottle of spirits hanging upside down, there's a device that they use to measure the spirits attached to the base of it when you put the drink in. So it's an optic. To choose is to opt. One for I, and carefully begin with is the C. It's the starting letter of careful. To separate is a part. A for answer is a standard abbreviation. Q&A, for example. And a section is a part. A bill is an invoice. So you get billed for money, get an invoice. Ready to sing is you are invoice. This one's hard, I think. Discomfort is eye strain. I mean, that's a bit of a general definition, but discomfort is eye strain. Discomfort seeing. Okay, no, that's fair enough. Eye strain, yeah, is discomfort seeing. That's the definition. Letters we hear. So we've got eyes, letter eyes, and to train is to practice. To slander someone is to throw mud at them, which is an acrostic of most ugly, despicable. First of all is your acrostic indicator. Rebuke is a tut. I'm not very keen on that one, but however you look at it, it's saying it's a palindrome. It goes same forwards as backwards. Equipment is apparatus or apparatus, which is an anagram of up as a trap. Mixed is your anagram indicator. Good, that one. Surreal is an anagram of a rulers. Yeah, and surreal is very strange. Very strange is the definition. So after shake up is your anagram indicator. Part of is your hidden word indicator that across Robin Goodfellow is bingo, which is a game. Remorse is guilt. A fellowship is a guild, and then we're taking time to replace time, so it's taking time. So put the T for the D. Guild becomes guilt. This is a really simple clue and really good actually. English is E, and at the back of the ship it's astern, referring to one direction, which is eastern. The reason I like that clue is because I said stern and I said aft, but in my head there's no way of getting E, astern. Just wouldn't have thought those letters, but as soon as I typed them in they became obvious. What we got on the downs. 10 years is a decade. Not extremely. So the extremes of not are the N and the T. And degenerate is decadent. Closing section is the finale. Is not applicable, so NA, in a dossier, which is a file. A great deal is a lot, including fine. F for fine gives you a loft, which is an attic space. Regina is the word for queen, Latin with queen. We often have, as I did, we often put R for Regina, for queen in a crossword clue, but in this case we actually wanted the whole thing. So referring to was re, and then the word gain, anagrammed, gives you the Gina. An unusual way is your anagram indicator for that bit. Right, it may help to remember is a souvenir, I think, which is an anagram aversion. Anagram aversion adapted to accommodate you. Is it literally just put a letter U in there for you? Interesting, doesn't seem to be like there's a so you got adapted is the anagram indicator of version. I'm just counting the letters, which is 7 letters, so yeah, just put a U in it for you. Accommodate is to say that, put that U in there. Sometimes they put a sound like indicator on that, in this case they haven't, which is the only reason I'm kind of mentally quibbling over it. Right, cheers up is tar for cheers, thanks, going upwards. over a drink which is rum with a minimum of ice. The minimum of ice is the I included, and part of a large building is an atrium. Brilliant is ACE, incorporating M for Mike, which is the NATO phonetic alphabet, and the highest point of achievement is Acme, not just a cartoon dynamite supplier. An attempt is a try, T-R-Y. Packing in, A is in the clue, and a singlet is a vest, and a farce is travesty. Good word, travesty. I haven't used it, but I think I should. Pay no regard to is to discount. You're discounting the information. And deduction from full price is a discount. A vegetable is, well, turnip is a vegetable. Change is to turn. Okay. Turn around, change that around. I is in the clue, and propose initially is the P of propose. To steal is to pilfer. Not a good word, but one I don't really use. Haven't got any use for it anyway. A large building in this case is a pile, which is the kind of name for a posh mansion type place. So it's a very large building. Housing, F for female, and then put it beside a river, R for river. Showy stuff is tinsel, which is put in selection. So it's boxes is your hidden word indicator. It starts in put, goes through in, and finishes in selection. Sago is type of cereal. Close to oats is the S of oats, closing letter, and in the past is ago. And then the centre of operations is your base, and something that's of inferior quality is base. So there we go, 9:31. Another sub 10 to start the week off. Good Monday puzzle on that. A little bit hard, I think, in places, but not too bad. Thanks to Hurley for that.